Hello everyone, Shane here with Shane's Premier League prediction show for match week 26. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and liked my videos so far. It's much appreciated. Now we'll crack on with the show. Manchester City travel to Burnley in the early kick-off tomorrow afternoon. I reckon Manchester City are going to edge this 1-2-1. They're running away with the league at the moment today. Can't really see that changing between now and the end of the season. Burnley will give them a good game, however, and they had a good draw at Newcastle in midweek. So I reckon Raheem Sterling and Sergio Aguero will be in with the goals for Manchester City, along with Chris Wood for Burnley. The 2-1 victory for the citizens. Now, Bournemouth and Stoke. What a victory for Bournemouth in midweek over current champions Chelsea. It was a wonderful 3-0 victory for them. I can see their good run of form, in fact their best run of form in their Premier League time so far, continuing with a 2-1 victory over Stoke City. Stoke City picked up a draw in midweek against Watford as well. But I can see this being a 2-1 win for the Cherries, with goals from Callum Wilson and maybe Ryan Fraser, along with Peter Crouch grabbing a consolation for the Potters. Brighton and West Ham. Both teams picked up draws in midweek. They weren't really the best of games in both cases. However, Brighton have been struggling in general lately, despite their draw in midweek. So I reckon this is going to be a 3-0 win for West Ham, with goals from maybe Manuel Lanzini, Marco Arnautovic, and Mark Noble, to give the Irons a comfortable win on the south coast. Right, on to Leicester and Swansea. Leicester were unlucky to get beaten by Everton in midweek. They lost 2-1. They hit the post several times and the crossbar. Whereas in contrast, Swansea managed to pick up an unbelievable victory against Arsenal, beating them by 3-1. I reckon, however, Leicester will win this one 2-0. But this will be the one I'd be least assured of, as Swansea are picking up results all around them lately, including having a good victory over Liverpool not too long ago. So I reckon the goals will come here from Islam Salmani and maybe Jamie Vardy. A 2-0 victory. So we'll move on. So Man United and Huddersfield, I reckon this is going to be a 2-0 win for the Red Devils. Both teams were humbled in midweek, really. Manchester United fell to a 2-0 defeat to rival Spurs. And Huddersfield lost 3-0 to Liverpool. You can see this being 2-0 win for United. Marcus Rashford and Juan Mata to come up with the goals here. On to West Brom and Southampton. I can see West Brom winning this one by 2-0. Jay Rodriguez and Daniel Sturridge to come up with the goals to help West Brom in the relegation battle. However, Southampton are right in the battle. They picked up a valuable point, however, in midweek with a goal from Stevens. So Arsenal and Everton is the late kick-off tomorrow evening. I can see this being another comfortable win for Arsenal at home. Their home record is very, very good. Everton are in a bit of a slump lately, despite their good victory in midweek. But I cannot see them picking anything up in North London, especially seeing that Arsenal had a bad slip up in midweek. I cannot see them doing anything but bouncing back. And they also signed Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund, and if he's fit, I'd say he might score a goal or two even to get his Arsenal career off to a good start. But there's doubts over his fitness, so the honour might be left to Lacazette or maybe even Mesut Ozil to pick up the goals here. On to Sunday. The early game sees Crystal Palace take on Newcastle. I can see this being a win for Crystal Palace. Newcastle have been really struggling, and they're slipping and sliding towards that relegation zone, and then I'd say they'll basically stay in it, but they're pretty toothless from what I've seen in the last few months or so, really, to be kind to them. They also didn't really bring anybody in the transfer window other than Kennedy on loan from Chelsea, so they're in big trouble. Despite a battling draw in midweek, Crystal Palace also had a draw against West Ham United, and I can see the Eagles picking up the 3 points here, as I said. So Wilfred Zaha and Christian Benteke with the goals for the Eagles, and Wild Gale to pick up a consolation for the Tulare. Now, on to Sunday. Liverpool and Spurs. Liverpool and Spurs both had wonderful wins in midweek, as I alluded to earlier on. I can see this being a comfortable win for the Reds, however. 4-0 victory, but we're usually blistering at home, and we also kept a clean sheet on Wednesday. Sorry, I'm speaking from a biased point of view here, not like me. But I can see Liverpool really flying it here, 4-0. Mohamed Salah scored twice. Saudi Mane and maybe Roberto Firmino chip in. The reason I'm going for this score is I reckon Spurs will be burnt out from their exertions in midweek. So there you go. Yeah. And the final game of the weekend then takes place on a Monday evening at Vicarage Road. Chelsea take on Watford. As I alluded to earlier, Chelsea had a really bad day last Wednesday, and they really need to bounce back quickly to keep to keep their to keep their place comfortable in the top 4, really. Because teams are picking up points here, there, and everywhere. So they need to win. Basically, they can't afford too many more performances like Bournemouth. So 3-1 victory for them with new signing Olivier Giroud and Eden Hazard to score twice, and maybe Troy Deeney to pick up a consolation for Watford. So there are my predictions for this week. We'll move on to the next part of the show, which is my fantasy picks. This is Fantasy Premier League now. So I have David De Gea in goals, and the Manchester United goalkeeper. I have Lewis Dunk, James Tompkins, and Long making up my back three. And then onto my midfield. This is where I'd expect most of my points to be gained over the weekend. Sterling, Hazard, Mane, Salah, and Lingard, along with Aubameyang and Firmino up front. So they're my fantasy picks. Onto Paddy Power Hotshot. These are first goal scorers. Jamie Vardy scored first for Leicester against Swansea. Aubameyang to score first for Arsenal against Everton. Mohamed Salah to score for Liverpool. Callum Wilson to score for Bournemouth. Wilfred Zaha to score for Crystal Palace. And Olivier Giroud to score for his new club, Chelsea. And finally, for the show this week, I'll move on to my Super 6 predictions. £1 million up for grabs if anybody wants to play it. So 2-1 to Bournemouth against Stoke, 2-0 to Leicester against Swansea, 2-0 to West Brom against Southampton, 3-0 to West Ham against Brighton, 3-0 to Manchester United against Huddersfield, and Leeds to beat Cardiff 2-0. So that's it for this week, folks. Thanks a million for watching. If you like it, as I said, hit the subscribe button and the like button, and please God, all going well. We'll talk to you again next week. All the best. Take care. Bye from Shane.